Forgot to add you. Add, assign to. There you go.
Whew. I look so tired. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're live.
Woo. Uh, how are you?
So
It's been a
it's
minute since I've
been
seen you.
so long since we seen each other. For the rest, for the oh, hey Fernando, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, look at that.
So Ryan and I were both together in person yesterday in Vancouver, BC. I was there for my wife, and we were having a weekend away, which in Vancouver, which was the town we had our honeymoon in 11 years ago, and
Wow.
so yeah, we oh, what is that flashing?
Time flies.
It does, it does. It's amazing. So what's that
And
notification?
somehow, folks, we didn't record an episode. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
recovering from jet lag after coming back from Japan, and things have been pretty rough, but I'm hanging in there.
What?
What do you get there? Some
I
emergency?
got no.
What is
I
happening?
get man
Is it your car
SMS
insurance?
spam, texting spam. It's- yeah.
Is it your car insurance? I hear that's the common one.
My what?
Car insurance is the common
No,
text
no.
spam,
I
no?
don't. I don't get car insurance ones. I got this one was. Oh, now it's gone because it's iPhone noticed it was spam, and so it
Took
just
care of
kind
it.
of filtered it out.
These days, I get a lot of job spam or like fake job
Oh
recruiter
yeah,
spam. I'm not sure about you.
I get a
That's
bit of
that's
that. Yeah.
the bulk of what I get. Yeah, and
I
I'll
got
tend to grab
hope.
it.
Hope your day is unfolding just the way you want it to.
That
Uh,
that has a
delete.
chat GPT smell. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfolding. Very poetic.
Um, and then I got another one that was almost like a what's that little key fob that you like tap and it spits out like random text. Um,
Uh,
you use it. I
mm,
mean,
I
Datadog
do. I've got one
did.
written in front of me. If it was written on it, I could tell
Yeah.
you. YubiKey.
YubiKey. Yeah. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. That's it.
It is in fact
Yeah.
written on the YubiKey in front of
Oh,
me.
is it?
Yes.
Okay. Um,
Yes, pressing the button on the YubiKey is like one of those common,
yeah.
I don't know, Slack if problems, I guess.
Yeah, I looked at it that message, and it's actually the it's that is the URL to go to. Not it was not a YubiKey message because my package. Urgent notice: my package is delayed due to incorrect address. Please update at this link. Yeah, I'm going to go to the U.S. Postal Service using this link, which has nothing to do with the Postal Service.
Don't touch that
Come
button.
on, really? Are
Yeah, it's
people?
a pretty common
Yeah.
one. That's a pretty common one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is the DNS problem of not understanding how the web works.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people get hit by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to address this work?
Yeah.
We got a comment about Raza AI. Have you heard
I
of this
I
before?
I
Or
don't
Raza
know of
AI?
Raza.
Nor have I. I can Google,
I can
but no,
too.
I have
Yes.
not.
Um. Why is my
Seems like an
browser
interesting
taking a
idea.
long time to come up?
Are you using that new browser, perhaps? I noticed it's pretty slow, the one from OpenAI.
No, I don't even use the really slow one from Perplexity.
I
Raza
did try
AI.
it. Atlas, yeah, I haven't tried Raza.
Comet. Oh, Atlas is OpenAI. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Comet's the Perplexity one. I think that
Right.
might actually have some legs, based on the way that I use Perplexity anyway. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
that colon operator, so you can just search for anything using it
Right. I
as a
I don't
search
know.
engine, I guess.
I'm not a fan of too much AI in the browser.
That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
but
I think I'm very worried about that logged in mode, I guess, in particular. So having the AI move my mouse and cursor and click and type on things that I'm already logged into, such as and including the Google suite of tools. I think to me, in particular, I'm a little bit nervous about. I'm sure at some
right.
point in time I'll trust this, but right
Yeah,
now,
we'll all get used
not
to
so
it.
much.
But
Yeah, I need some sort of sandbox around it, I guess, at this
right.
point. Yeah. So logged in mode, I guess I'm a little bit bearish on, but yes, the rest of the browser
No.
it seems pretty cool.
So Rasa Pro AI assistant development and operation and collaborative no-code AI assistant building
Hmm,
and optimization. Oh, you can
that's a lot of
self-host.
keywords.
There's a
Ooh.
lot of keywords, and you can self-host. The web page shows what looks like a button saying self-hosted, but it's not a button. It's just an image. So it's a little
Oof.
frustrating. But yeah, I know nothing. I know nothing about what Rasa is. What do you think, Echo Delta of Rasa AI?
Yeah, yeah. You pitching us?
Tell
Do
me
we
your
just get pitched?
thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
Take on the what was it? Not Elvira, but Eliza.
Eliza, I guess.
Yes.
Expert system.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Make it sound deep.
yes.
Uh, I I have not played too much with this browser, but my understanding is it's a little bit too slow for prime time at the moment. But it's still kind of scary. I think if it got a
Yeah.
little bit faster,
Yeah.
the things that you could do with this. Even
Yeah.
right now, there's Manus, is it, or Open Manus, Open
Mm.
Hands,
Mm-hmm.
that can drive your mouse and cursor.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
feels to me like something that's very handy in a test environment when I want to make sure my
Sure.
website that I just created
Yes.
works.
Yes.
That's the first use case that I thought
Great.
about was some harness
Yes.
around, like I move the button, but also I still want to be able to test.
Right.
Remember we had this issue with workshops. You can't take a screenshot of like a
Yes.
screen in the app in order to run a workshop because the
Right.
workshop might refer to it incorrectly, and as a result, they might not be able to complete it. Oh, Copilot N8N alternatives. Okay,
Mm.
fair enough. I've been looking
Okay.
at Camunda or Camundo as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this this app space of workflow slash Canvas app
Yeah.
to task, I think is kind of interesting.
I mean, there are. I mean, yes, things are accelerating, and new products can pop up and catch up to whoever was there before faster than ever before. But some of these are almost. I mean, I don't know how long Rasa has been around.
Hmm.
It's about us. It's a fairly decent sized team. But it doesn't say where, or it says where they are, but I don't see when they were founded. Hmm. A lot of
I
faces.
keep coming across weird licenses as well in a lot of these
Oh yeah,
tools. They're like, what was the? I was just looking at the Camunda one. I think it's called the Camunda license. They made their own license,
yeah, yeah,
which means that I end up having to read this legalese and
yeah,
figure out whether or not I can use this fork,
yeah.
or whatever it is, this work. Yeah.
And now I saw there's another license that somebody. I mean, there's always new licenses people come up with.
Different than
Human
MPO.
only,
Human
human
only.
only something. So, so the software
This is amazing.
software
The
can
human only
only
public license.
be used, even source code read by humans, not AI, and no agents or whatever to use it as well. And um, it feels like
Very interesting.
you know the person who won't use the telephone and only use letters or what's the term for that? The
Luddite.
Luddite.
A digital Luddite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this though. I like the spirit of this. This is kind of, and they mention robots to text in here. Like
Hmm.
what would happen if you came across robots to text? And I
Right.
think the quote was blinding, like shine blindingly red or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It's a good idea. I think we're onto something.
And regarding the robots, I see that one of the robot sites now has a pre-order. And
I meant robots to text. So which robot site is
oh,
this?
this is the one where it's uh, like a humanoid robot. So there's a few of them. I think it was AI.xtech or something like that. Tech
Hmm.
AIX.tech. I don't know, something like that. And the prices were delivery next year, and prices $499 per month or $20,000 to buy it,
I
and
found
you
it.
get it
It's
sooner.
1x. You
One
may
X.
ask, how did I how did I find this? Google help me out. But it is in fact 1x you're talking about, and
Yep.
yeah, it's 20,000 for ownership, 499 a month,
Yeah.
and it's got this weird Nike mesh weave body to it.
Hey,
Interesting.
dog's going nuts. I'm gonna go check on something real quick. I'll be right back. Okay.
No worries. While he's out there, I will look at this robot. Smat sent us to 1x.tech/order for this $20,000 robot. Hopefully that's not what he's gone to get there, but we'll have a look at this. It's called the Neo, and it has interesting eyes, I would say. And the fabric skin is also a little bit strange. Interesting. All right, so let us know in the chat if anyone's ordering this 1X robot, the Neo, which is taking $200 deposits now and will be $500 a month or $20,000 ownership. Hello, Brian. Thanks for joining us. Matt has just gone to deal with an emergency. I'm trying to fill the dead air here by talking about a 1X robot, the Neo. Looks very interesting. I think that's the only robot we can order so far. Unless you can buy the Unitree for 30K. I was trying to figure out, having seen those in person. Yeah, two? I could take a couple. Oh, it does say the Unitree Go is available. So the robot, the four-legged one. It's the bipedal, I think, that might be a bit interesting to us here. They say you can grab the R1 for 5,000, but I don't know. Not sure.
Okay.
He is back. Fair enough.
All right. So there was nobody. It was actually sort of nobody. The
Was it
builder
your
of the
robot?
no,
Oh,
no. The builder of the house is working on the pool, like next to the hot tub
yes.
that's built into the ground.
It's a rough life, hey.
Well, okay. So this hot
Yes.
tub is been problems. Like for a while, the next to the hot tub is this door in the deck that you go down into, and that's where all the equipment is for the pool. That door for a while was like completely wedged shut, and we couldn't open it and then you would try to opening it and it like ripped the handle off. So eventually we got it open. We got it open, and he's been replacing it with a door that like lifts up on hinges. It's super heavy, but at least this will be won't chop toes off. And but getting him to get the door on, it's taken a while with scheduling to get it. So he's been working on that. But then in the last few weeks, all the walls of the pool and the floor is all it's some quartzite like stone, and one of the walls popped off. So there's that
no.
problem as well. It's like
Shoot.
this thing that I wish I would be fine. That's the one thing that I would be fine if we didn't have it. Because
I
it's
thought you were
always a
saying
pain in the ass.
that's the one thing that the robot could actually, at least
Oh
opening
yeah,
those doors. I feel
opening
like the
those
robot,
doors. I mean, having a robot lift that thing up. Yeah, as I get older and yeah.
So I thought this was the first bipedal pre-order, but it looks like the Unitree or some of the Unitrees are on sale. I've not heard of
Oh,
anyone
really?
buying any, but
No.
I've seen some Unitrees in person, and they're kind of impressive.
Hmm.
I wouldn't let them maybe rampant in my house, but
Yeah.
for a very
What can they
cordoned
do?
off job, well, they can walk around and pick up things and drop things off basically. So as like a warehouse worker, maybe that would be interesting as
Okay.
part of like an assembly line is
Right.
where my brain was. I'm so sorry to completely like put the robots into a type of part making factory as my first big job here. But when looking at this Neo Home robot, it's doing a lot more stuff for like old folks care,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. So it's
See,
like
I mean,
like
I
vacuuming and stuff.
if we could have something that would just pick up the toys from that are strewn about the house. Now, would I pay $500 a month for that? I think I can lift up the toys myself. But as the costs come down, maybe
Right,
that becomes
right.
interesting.
But that home assistance, I think, is what they're selling this as, and that
Hmm.
seems like a pretty good, like a more open-ended task as opposed
Yeah.
to, move one
Yeah.
thing from point A to point B. Yeah, and I can understand the subscription as well because if you're getting older, you're getting used to a certain level of care, then yeah, you would want this
Yeah.
to remain around,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. If it keeps you
Interesting.
out of the nursing home a little bit longer, allows you to stay in your home. I mean,
Right.
because nursing homes can be 4,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 6,000, 10,000 a month. I mean, they're starting to dig into your retirement savings. They'll jack up the prices quite a lot, even without care. We There's
Yeah,
a care
can you
facility right
imagine?
very close to us, and so we hear
Fair
about the
enough.
prices, and it's like, oh my god.
You're trying to figure out when you pull
Yeah.
the switch, yeah. But if we did the Teslaification or whatever that is of care, where you're unlocking
Hmm.
different, I don't know, maybe there's a plaid mode where your assistant works really fast around the house or something, that would in fact suck, where you'd have to increase the amount that you're paying
Yeah.
and you're on a fixed income or what have you. Yeah, this
Yeah.
this it does not make me excited about the future of my
Hmm.
care home or care
Yeah.
experience. That's RS asked what we were talking about. The One X Tech Neo robot just got released in pre-order for a
Hmm.
$200 pre-order, $500 a month after that. We're talking about whether or not it makes
Yeah.
sense. Ryan Corson asked about the IBM Power Series. I have. Matt, have you played with machines that give a lot of RAM to one core? I think would be the specific
I haven't
thing here.
played with an IBM server in 25 years.
That sounds about right for me.
Yeah.
Maybe 16 for me, but yes,
Yeah.
definitely, it's been a minute. The amount of memory, though, I would say even currently, there's RAM prices are going through the roof because the amount of memory that you can assign it to one core is in fact how much you can get to a model. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's a big deal these days. Yeah. So I've got some
Right.
servers here that I've played with CPUs with 128 gigs of RAM, and you can actually do a lot of cool stuff by being able
Hmm.
to use the GPU as well as the RAM on the
Yep.
system. So one is slow, one is fast, but the slow one can do your orchestration, and the
Mm.
fast one can handle your tasks. It's pretty neat.
Hmm.
Yeah. I used to do it to make 10 by 24 images. Basically, I thought it was pretty cool. Using like a 3090, I guess back in the day, but
Hmm.
using the 1080, the 128 gigs of RAM would give me more resolution, basically,
Right.
which is nice. Whereas on a GPU, you just don't have that memory.
Right.
These days, I don't, it feels like you can make a 4K image in a split second. It just
Yeah.
things have changed so quickly,
Yeah.
so quickly.
So quick.
Let's see.
Um,
Other than that, I've been playing around a lot with Claude Code and Code Server a bunch. How about yourself for coding tools? Do you have any new tools for me? Have you played with any of these newfangled tools?
no, I mean, this weekend we were, as I say, in Vancouver, and
Hmm.
for a few days before that, well, beginning of the week, I was prepping a presentation that I delivered at some place
Okay. Okay.
that required paperwork to be signed,
I see.
and so I've kind of been sort of out. I mean, but before that, I was playing around with. I think I mentioned before, whatever the Amazon IDE is,
Cairo?
Cairo, yeah, something like that. which
Spec
is really
driven,
nice.
I think is the main thing. Yeah.
The fact that it's, yeah, spec driven, exactly, I mean, there's plenty of those types of tools for other platforms, but to have it all rolled in, and yes, Windsurf does that as well, and I guess Cursor does now as well, but I haven't played with those features in those engines. But in the Cairo, it works beautifully. I mean, it was the first time but it was able to do a pretty significant thing without having to roll back a bunch of times.
Right.
And it just kept moving forward, and never having to roll back, which was amazing.
Right. So it's fairly rigid, I think, in the excuse me, fairly rigid in terms of the process, right? You kind of go
Yeah.
left to right. Left is your spec, and the middle is kind of where the code lands, and then right is where you interact with the agent, sort of back and forth. Yeah. It seems like a really good idea. I worry or I wonder a lot about UML. Did you ever do this in school? Did you ever do like pseudocode prior to coding?
Not in
Did you have any of
school,
these?
but
Oh, I
since
had props
school,
that drove me off the
I am
wall.
older than you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I had professors who would make me write down in English text with a pencil and a paper what an application should do, and then write down the goals it should
Right.
achieve, and then write down in quote unquote pseudocode the loops. You should do this
Right.
until, and it drove me so mad, so
Right.
batty. And these days, when I look at tools like Kiro or any other spec-driven app, I think about these profs and laugh, because I've never done this my entire career, and I'm currently doing it. And
Yeah,
it's a little bit handy. And
Yeah.
sorry, I can't talk. It's quite handy to have thought that way before, or at least gone through the thought process where I can describe things in pseudocode. For those of you who don't know, pseudocode would be like, and I add 1 to 2, and that equals 3, and you would actually just type out in English what the code would do.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's what we're doing a lot of times when we're communicating or at least interacting with LLMs.
Yeah.
It's that kind of process. I don't know. So I guess at that point in time, I tried to think of what was the next tool that we used, and it was UML with rational rows. Speaking of IBM, did you ever do these like flowcharty diagrams? I honestly feel like I somehow skipped this because I can't remember anything about the UML stuff.
So UML, I feel, is newer than. I mean, I was using entity relationship diagrams.
Framework?
Like there was a product called Irwin that
wow.
I was writing the reviewer's guide for, and for them to send it out to magazine reviewers, as well as to do new evaluation of the product. So I was writing the reviewer's guide for that and doing competitive analysis for them. I think maybe before it was actually released. But
It's amazing. Quest Software, my friend. This is quite a while ago.
Well, it was Irwin was the name of the company, I think, at the time.
Right,
and that
right.
must have been acquired.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, ERWin, the entity relationship diagramming software for Windows.
And I'm pretty sure that the owners let us use their ski house in Killington, Vermont, in exchange for part of the payment. So they didn't. I don't think they had all the money, and so we got their ski house and for a few weekends, and we had some great times. So it was good.
I definitely don't have a story that cool. I will say, having worked on Alfresco, and I think you worked on Nextdocs, Alfresco had the activity BPMN 2.0 diagramming process. Do you remember BPMN? Business process modeling notation.
Yeah.
So it's not UML, but it's similar.
So that was the job where I was doing reviewers' guides and white papers. The next job after that. Or actually, no, it was a few jobs later. I was working for a company called Teamplate. A Teamplate out of Calgary, Canada, and then got bought out by Capteris. but Teamplate had a product called
Wow,
Teamplate, which was BPMN software and building out the workflows.
that's really
So
cool.
yeah,
Just to get us right back to square one, because this feels like where a lot of these UIs go
yeah,
these days. It's
yeah,
like you're diagramming out a workflow or a
right.
process, as we were talking about. I think it was, oh shoot, I've already forgotten
Kiro,
the name. My apologies. Kiro, and then the one Samsara. No, sorry, Rasa.
Rasa,
Tabula
yeah,
rasa.
yeah.
I got to get my mnemonic devices straight here. Uh, it feels like those ways of drawing basically that process, that workflow engine, is now what a lot of people are reaching for when it comes to AI, because it might be like an LLM as a judge, but you're constantly trying to add something on to whatever that, it could be agentic process, but that workflow or that engine that you're trying to run, you're always wanting to like just add a little bit to it.
Hmm.
And it feels like N8N or Node-RED should be just incredibly popular right now, and it I don't know what it is that people just have a hard time. It's like they pick it up and they put it down immediately, and
Yeah,
I don't know if they're like lacking a tool. Like the workflow
I
engine
think.
that I know, unfortunately, is like Hudson or Jenkins,
Mm,
but like it's definitely something better than that.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
yeah. I think. I mean, one of the things I did at this private session I did was
Hmm.
just showing examples, and a lot of the examples are from the videos that I make,
Right.
and for a lot of the folks who were there, it's like, now I see why this is relevant to me,
Clicks. Okay.
and just and these weren't tools that they might use in a corporate environment, but rather some stuff that they could use at home and then get used to it, and then bring something similar to work. So yeah, I think finding how is it relevant to me is always the question, and sometimes tools like, I mean, I guess that's one thing that if this and that has always done really well in is
Right.
that it is in there's so many other products that work with if this and that and Zapier that it people kind of understand it, and N8N is like, I don't really understand why do I care about this, and I get enough comments on the videos that say, well, if you were a developer, it would be easier just to do it in code.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
yes,
Right.
if this one thing that I'm demonstrating in this one video is the one thing that you automate, yes, it's
Right.
totally easier to do it in code one time. But as soon as you create two, three, four of these workflows, then no, I don't. There's no way you can convince me it's going to be faster to build by code any of these, all four of these automations or more.
Yeah, I think the thing about a workflow is as soon as you built it, you have to modify it. Which,
Right,
if you're a coder and you wrote some code, awesome. If you're not a
right,
coder, you're instantly cooked, right?
right.
Sorry, I was listening to you with two things. One, I was playing with the YubiKey we were talking about earlier, but Brian in the comment here kind of stumped me in terms of the KV cache tricks,
Hmm.
because I had not heard of this and ended up on a Hugging Space article that does look pretty
Yep.
cool. So it looks like
The
ways of
Hafed
essentially,
Hitri article.
was it, sorry, what now? The Hafid
The
Hitcher? Yes, yes,
article by
yes,
Hafed.
that's exactly what I'm reading.
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly where I am too.
Yeah, so I had not seen this, Brian. Thank you very much. And this does look like something that, at least on my end, I'll probably do a little bit more research into, because it looks pretty cool.
So this is something that got added to Olama and most of the other tools probably, let's say,
Earlier
six
in the
to
year,
eight
it looks
months
like.
ago. Yeah,
Okay,
and the idea is mostly around the context, caching the context, and um,
smart.
and so now rather than so you have the quantization of the model, but then also on the context as well, allowing you to get more of both the model and more of the context into a smaller piece of memory.
That's fantastic. I've been looking into caching algorithms recently as well, just to see what I could test out. I'm just trying to like with models, I'm running out of things I can test where
Hmm.
I'm like at the edge of my knowledge, basically, to
Right.
say like, is it quote unquote inventing something or finding something novel on the
Hmm.
edges of my knowledge, or is it just that I really don't know? Most of the times, it's I just don't know. But I've been looking up like L2 Arc cache, which is the Arc cache in ZFS, for example.
Okay.
Again, one of the few storage things I know pretty well.
Right.
I was just trying to figure out if there's like newer caching systems. I've been working with Valky a lot. Have you
Okay.
heard
Yeah.
of this project? Like
Yeah. A
the Redis
fork
fork.
of Redis, and since
Yeah,
then
yeah,
both have gone a little bit in different
yeah,
directions.
yeah. It
Yeah.
feels like Redis is now becoming more of a database, which I guess it always wanted to
Always.
be.
Yeah.
Which neither here nor
Yep.
there. You
Yep.
do you. That's not
Yep.
how I've used Redis. It's totally fine. I've definitely used it as a KV cache or a KV
Right.
store, I think, which is why
Right.
it came up in my brain, or used it as a cache in front of a database. And I've been looking at
Right.
different ways of caching, whether or not this can affect it. But yeah, absolutely. I ended up on this side quest trying to figure out
Yeah.
like how the licenses are different and how like one can do one thing, but the other doesn't necessarily. It's not feature parity, essentially.
Right.
I've also been going down the Open Tofu path, basically going down all the fun open source fork paths these
Okay.
days.
Yep.
And using Ansible again is very weird. It feels like 10
Hmm.
years are coming back to haunt me, my life
Yeah.
of 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these models are really like keen to SSH, use Git
Hmm.
commands, a lot of shell commands, that sort of
Hmm.
thing. And I'm very keen to put them in Docker containers or
Right.
maybe
Right.
make the process repeatable. It
Right.
feels like basically rubbing some DevOps on a lot of what
Yeah.
I'm seeing come out of these models.
Yeah.
It's just trained on an era that I feel is like it's quaint. Let's say it's a little bit older times than I'm used to. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like remedial on one end, but at the same time trying to understand where the tools have gotten to
Right.
or become. I had a model corrupt Git the other day. I've never in my life have
Hmm.
I corrupted Git, and I thought it was pretty cool, but
Hmm.
also it was pretty hairy to get rid of because you got to get rid
Hmm.
of that corrupt branch, but also save your code. It's very fun.
Right. Right.
It's a cool what if scenario. It's like
Yeah.
infinite what ifs. What if I
Yeah.
gave 1,000 engineers this GitHub repo? Would they corrupt it eventually?
Right.
Maybe. It certainly did happen.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's the kind
Huh.
of hairy mess that I get into. When I ask you the editor question, I think the question is because I'm still reaching for Windsurf. That's still my tool of
Mm-hmm.
choice. And I think it's because it's got really good console capabilities, but I
Right.
still get into trouble where like the PTY connection between the console and the model, the tool
Mm.
calls
Mm-hmm.
essentially fails. So the JavaScript terminal that it's using,
Right.
which I think is xterm.js, will stop working and then therefore it can't run console
Yeah.
commands anymore. And it's way less useful for me when it can't do that because then it starts creating these scripts and running these,
Right.
and you end up with folders and folders of
Right.
just temp scripts that it runs. But
Yeah.
anyway,
My
this is
big
where
thing
I
with all
still
of
reach
these
for.
tools, do
Mhm.
very poorly with fish, and I have to roll back, 20 years to ZSH or
Yeah.
Bash, to yeah, which is annoying.
Even ZSH or
Yeah.
ZSH, as I am wont to call it, not good at all because it tries to do parameter expansion a lot of the times
Hmm.
for Bash incorrectly in
Yeah.
ZSH. Also, in Bash, will continuously add exclamation points to the end of quotes just before the double quotes, which in
Mm.
Bash is I think it becomes a literal. So the exclamation point I think somehow means that the quote becomes verified. I guess I can't remember
Hmm.
what it is, but anyway, you have to add another quote because it's not escaped
Okay.
properly. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly just in the terminal, just adding that
Right.
extra quote
Right.
to get it by. You'll know because it will say D quote and greater than. You
Right.
just you'll know to recognize this. And
Yeah.
I don't know, troubleshooted enough Bash scripts over the years that I know to look
Yeah. I
for it.
feel like
But I'm back in the
my
Bash years. Like, what the heck's happening?
my Bash scripting got better more recently with Bash Lint.
Oh, okay.
And for like I think I might have found a plugin in VS Code that does Bash linting, and it was more of like reminding me to add the double quotes on variables, and to ensure that they get expanded.
Right.
And often when you're using a Bash script to create a Bash script that will then be, and then having that double You know, you don't want it to be expanded the first time, but you do want to expand it the
Right.
second time or third time or whatever. Yeah, that
And
was a.
and here's where, because I've gone down this path too. Here's where you learn that like Bash 4 has a different license than Bash 3,
Oh,
and that the Bash included in Mac OS is different than the Bash that everybody else is using because
right.
it's GNU license now, and that
Mm.
was in fact why it moved to ZSH. And I think one of those in particular
Oh,
is quoting quoted strings
yeah,
is one of those things that's a little bit easier, but that I've like not learned
yeah,
for example, for the same point. So I think I would always use single quotes because I felt like they were the most powerful. But I don't know if
yeah,
that's what you end up using. That's kind of the
yeah,
thing. The other is some of these like amazing Apple writing tools will give you the fancy quotes. So like the
yeah,
open single quote
yeah,
and the quote, which is a whole different thing
yeah.
in Bash. But yes,
And I
I do
find that
digress.
I I turn that off. You know, you can turn that off in the
Yep.
settings in the Mac, but I find that often enough, I will use some AI tool and it will generate something and it uses those smart quotes. Like,
Also true.
ah,
Yeah, or M dashes where it should
oh
literally
yeah,
be two hyphens
yeah,
because it's like it's part of a command line
yeah,
command.
yeah,
The
yeah,
the
yeah,
errors
yeah.
require two dashes as opposed to
Totally.
one long
Yes.
M dash.
Yep.
We're in some like weird. It feels like this is an us problem. Do you know what I mean? We
Right.
caused this problem for ourselves. Why did we require two hyphens in arguments for years?
Yeah.
And some apps had one. I think one is like Unix styling, and some have two, which is Linux styling. I've
Mm-hmm.
forgotten there's a historical term for these, but the way that you parse your
Mm.
arguments in the command line is a certain flavor of script,
Mm-hmm.
and you will know when
Right.
you're using them. It's like, oh, because you don't necessarily combine the two. So typically the single hyphen is for like the short code, like a C,
Yeah. Yeah.
and double hyphen would be like the longer one in
Right.
most of the Linux apps.
Right.
It's maddening,
Yeah.
maddening.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yep.
This is the thing. So listen, I I've been dealing with windsurf, and I've been
Uh-huh.
dealing with this terminal problem, and I've been trying to build stuff on Mac, and I keep coming across this one problem in particular, which is Docker Desktop on Mac crashes for me more often than any other app I'm
Really?
using at the moment. And I think I talked about this going into spelunking into how it works and how it makes itself quote unquote fast,
Mm-hmm.
and coming up with Colima. Do you recall this, or Lima? Have I mentioned this
Mm. Oh yeah.
before?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So Apple finally released their version of this, which they call Virtualization Framework,
Right.
and there's a wrapper around it called VFKit, which is pretty cool
Okay.
actually. But in Tahoe, they've now released what they call the Container Kit. Have you heard of this? Actually, I
Mm.
think it came out in Sequoia, but
Yeah.
in Tahoe it
Yeah.
became like stable. So it's a way of running containers on those
Right.
VMs in
Right.
VFKit. And I've been able to make, I think they're operating systems that will start in like under 2 seconds.
Oh
On
really?
they're command like. So
Uh-huh.
so they're not containers, because a container is kind of like no-ish
Right.
startup time, because you can do from scratch in a container, for example,
Yeah.
because you've got all the operating system all loaded, that thing. But on Mac at this point in time, you can now create VMs that are so fast, like a BusyBox VM, maybe an
Uh-huh.
Alpine Linux VM, where you can boot it up, start a container or start an app, and give you a result back to the kernel in under 2 seconds. I think 1 second would be native looking or native esque, but you can do it in about 2 seconds at this point in time, and it's quite
Huh.
impressive.
So what tools do I look for that?
You would look for Virtualization Framework, or VFKit, is kind of the base OS, which is what Docker Desktop is using, as far as I can tell, is using
Right.
VFKit. And they've got this tiny little
Right.
Alpine Linux OS on top of that. And then inside of there is what's called Container Kit. And they've got a whole bunch of different SDKs now that are kits. One of them is CloudKit. The other one is Container
Hmm.
Kit. I think CloudKit might actually be outside of Apple, but there are a bunch of things inside of Apple that relate to
Hmm.
it. But Container Kit is the one that I've been using, which I would recommend if you want to essentially roll your own Docker machine. Do you remember those days where
Right.
you'd start your own VM,
Yeah.
run a Docker client, and run the
Right.
daemon elsewhere and attach them? You can basically do that with this. So
Yeah.
it's transparent. The other tool that ships this is Podman. Do you
Oh
remember
yeah. Yep.
Podman? I've never like I keep thinking Red Hat just wants to make Podman happen and it's not
Yeah.
working. I feel like this is one of those cases where, after having figured this out and looking at Podman, and I think MicroK8s or one of the other
Hmm.
MicroK8s distributions also uses the same, it feels like it's worth looking at Podman again, because if what I need is a Docker CLI replacement that looks like Docker, but is not Docker, but is
Right.
stable, Podman might be it for ARM. I feel like I'm going to eat my
I
words here.
had, I mean, it could have been just a one-off, but I've never lost data with Docker, but with Podman I
Yeah.
have.
Oh, shoot. Well, I've not lost data with Docker. I've certainly had a crash, but I've
Yeah.
yet to lose any data.
No, I mean like volumes disappeared.
That's
Yeah.
not a good look.
Yeah.
I was using that volume.
Yeah, exactly.
My problem is generally trying to run Kubernetes in Docker is probably in
Yeah.
particular what I'm doing in Docker that's
Yeah.
not good. But I'm really like it's bursting at the seams here. I'm running like
Yeah.
6 or 7 containers inside of Kubernetes inside of
Right.
Docker is what I'm in particular doing.
Wow.
But it's not fun.
Yeah.
It breaks all the time. But it's mostly about the Docker. Like it'll make a 200 gig container very easily. If I lost that volume, I would not be happy
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's a bunch of containers inside of it.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I guess even this still doesn't have access to the GPU within the container.
So my understanding is that virtualization framework should, but I did not see anywhere in the
Yeah.
container docs.
Last
Because
time I
don't-
looked, I saw
Yeah.
that it was not supported. Because that's the problem
yeah.
with Docker on Mac is there's no access to the GPU.
So okay, so the other side quest here is like I think the GPU works because I got Mac OS on Mac OS finally running. I know I've brought this up before. It is certainly a pet peeve of mine. I got it running using something called Virtual Buddy, which has got to be the dumbest name for an open source piece of software, but it works okay. It's a wrapper around VFKit as well as virtualization framework, because VFKit is primarily for Linux, I guess, and virtualization framework is very generic. So one is from Apple, virtualization framework. VFKit is open source from the community, but because the focus is on Linux, it doesn't really think about Mac or MACH,
Right.
mock
Right.
kernels, so Mac kernels. Like XNU or what have you. But that in particular is what I'm looking at for doing things like testing Tahoe's. I don't know, how do you make touchpad work properly again? How do I right click? How do I figure out natural scrolling? Having just gone through this morning after I upgraded, what does that testing look like?
Right.
But yeah, Virtual Buddy, I guess, is my resounding
Okay.
recommendation here. And do look at Podman again. I feel bad saying this, but it seems like the foundation, at least, of some of those tools are pretty sweet.
Cool.
So it's Kolima,
Virtual Buddy.
Lima, or a VFKit would be the 3
Okay.
virtualization texts to look at.
I took some notes.
I heard you scribbling down there. That was amazing. It was an auditory
Yes.
it's a feast for the ears.
Using my at the moment my favorite fountain pen.
Okay.
It's
Is it
from
internet connected?
no, it's like super cheap. I think this might have been like $12 or $13
Nice.
at the Muji store right at the base of
Oh.
where Datadog is in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's great.
You were there recently, huh?
I was, yeah, when I went
Yeah,
for when and it took me down. Right over.
I still haven't seen the roof. I have to see the roof. I've definitely been
You were
to the
there.
Muji store.
You were
I
there.
was definitely there. I'm busy. I do work.
The roof deck is amazing.
Yeah, I mostly sleep or work. So either I was sleeping or working. Yeah, this is one of the two for sure.
It is the highlight of the office.
Is that your checkout then? The pen, not the office?
No,
is this
no.
what you would like us
I've
all
I've
go
actually
look
got
at? Yeah.
3 things.
Oh shoot! Did you write them all down with your pen?
I have them in front of me. I have 2 of them in front of me.
Phenomenal. All right. What do you got?
Okay, so one I meant to show you yesterday because we were sitting
Oh,
next
shoot.
to each other,
person,
and so you
okay.
had your camera, the
Right. Ricoh?
GR3.
Yep. Sure.
So
sure,
I've
yeah.
got I've had something like this before. It's a it's thing that goes on the back and it's turns into a little tripod and that's nice.
That's cool.
But what's different about this one? I've had one before that would just do that part. And then this turns into a little tripod and that. So that's really nice. But this one, but then if you are on a plane and you have, say, these taken out and you just kind of slip this on the other side of the tray table, it now
Right.
your phone is pointing up, which is not useful. And this one just adds an extra little tilt, and so
Smart.
now I that eliminates one other piece of stuff that I carry on planes. So
Hmm.
that's nice. But what's also great about this one is that it has the screws for quarter, whatever, 3/4 20 or whatever the like kind of standard photo kind of
Hmm.
screw hole, and it's got them there, there. Um, I guess that's it. But then, even cooler is that if you I don't know if you can see the profile of that.
A little bit. That Arca Swiss.
It's Arca Swiss.
Ah,
So
ah,
now,
very cool.
if you've got any tripod with a Arca Swiss mount, which I'm sure I
Which is
do here,
most ball heads. Yeah.
yeah.
Very cool.
Now this will slip on, and now you've got your phone stand for your tripod, and so it's eliminated a whole bunch of others. So I had one from Ulanzi, very
Hmm.
similar to this, minus the Arca Swiss part and the screw holes and the extra bend, and that was probably $40. And this
Wow.
one I got it on Amazon for $25, and
Nice.
it's a good chunk of metal. I mean, it's not super heavy, but it's got some heft to it.
It looks like one of those nicey rig kind of
Yes,
not small rig quality, but one of those cages for your camera.
right,
It's got that
right,
build feel to it.
yeah. Oh, and then the other thing that this has that the other tool did not have is it's magnetic. I was looking for something metal,
Ah,
but it will stick to any metal surface. I think I've got.
that's really handy, actually.
Actually, that's not metal. Yeah, so
I like the sound
that's
though. Thunk.
yeah. So that's pretty amazing. The fact that it's metallic, and then it also came with an extra sticker for MagSafe if you have some other device that's not an iPhone that you want to attach and use this with. So they had it like one of the Amaran really small lights. Put that little
Right.
sticker on it, and now this became a little tripod for one of the lights.
Very interesting.
It is such a cool device. This is from who makes this? Um, the DP Journey, as in
Did
digital or director photographer kind of. Yeah,
it took me a moment too.
yeah,
DOP, right? DP, DOP. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That could be
The
an
DP journey.
unfortunate name too. Anyway, so that's one.
Yes, that's really
The
cool.
another one is I
But
got
wait, there's more.
so I saw an episode of I think it was Jimmy, not Kimmel, but the other one, Jimmy
Fallon?
Fallon, um, interviewing the guy who does Diary of a CEO
That I don't know.
podcast.
I
So
can Google.
he's got some YouTube podcast, and he gets a lot of
Stephen
views.
Bartlett?
Yeah, and
Okay.
and some really big names. And Jimmy Fallon was somebody who he had on early on. Um, and anyway, he did this interview, and he was like, "These were the best questions I'd ever gotten." And Jimmy Fallon was so amazed that he came into the studio and they were already playing his favorite song, and the smell in the studio was like something he really liked. And then at the end of the interview, he's walking out the door, and one of the members of the team gives him this book, and it's a photo album of their interview.
Wow.
So it's and one of the things,
Very next
so
level client experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. And so one of the things that Stephen talks about on that was, they do all this research ahead of time to make sure they know what your favorite song is or favorite artist,
Mhm.
um, and they also spend a lot of time on air quality in the room, and so
Ah,
ensuring that they have, if you have a small room like say this room, and
Hmm.
you've got the door closed for half hour, the CO2 levels go kind of high, a little too high.
Right.
Um, and I was curious, well, how bad is it? And so I got a couple of these CO2 monitors.
Ah, cool.
And so
That was a
this
long
one,
drive to get there. Okay, got
yeah.
it.
So this one is Aranet 4.
Yep.
I also had another one from SwitchBot. So SwitchBot makes one that's like $50, really cheap. This Aranet one is more like $200.
Okay.
And I got the SwitchBot, but then I was like, well, how do I know if it's accurate? Uh,
Hmm.
And so I got this one, which is very highly rated, so that I can see, well, if they're similar, well, they're either both wrong, which is probably less likely than them both being right.
Right.
And so they're both very similar. This one just updates more often, but it has an e-ink display. But I can see that the parts per million of CO2 that you want is below 1,000. And once you
Got it.
go above 1,000, then it's not so good, and you get kind of loopy. And if you're having a long conversation, for an hour,
Hmm.
and this
I feel
one
like this works both ways, right? Like
is now
if
at
you're trying to interview
1887.
somebody.
So it is
Yep.
really bad in here right now.
Right. Right.
Um, and
Is this
yeah,
part of our like you studied Russian literature? Recall, folks, just make sure. Now understands the air quality and how to like
yep,
get answers out of people. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Is
Interesting,
this your
interesting
style of
observation.
interviewing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I've been
My
watching this
casebook is
climb.
long.
When I walked in the door in this office, like
Yeah.
3 minutes before we started, and I
Hmm.
closed the door. This was at 600.
Well, don't forget you ran out. I think at some point and ran back. Right? Maybe you were. Yeah.
That did not. Yeah.
Over ventilating.
At that time, it was probably it was just at around 900 to 1,000, and
Oh, so it was
it
climbing
is
quite a bit.
climbing,
Yeah.
and it's
Wow.
climbed a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then the CO the air purifiers that you get like on Amazon. There's some that are like $50, worthless.
Right. They do nothing. Right. Yeah.
We have a couple from, oh, it's one of the Levoit, I think it is.
Okay.
One that's 300 and one that's more like $600.
Hmm.
Those are also, they're great for removing the air particle like smells and stuff. If we burn something in the kitchen, that'll get
Hmm.
it'll automatically turn on and it disappears within a few minutes.
Nice.
But it does nothing for CO2.
Ah. Right. Right.
And so the only option is to have a well ventilated room, or there are CO2 air purifiers, but I think most of them start at the $2,000 range. And I remember at Infra slash Olama, we got one, and I was like, what? Why did we get spending $3,000 on this thing? What was going on? What were they thinking? And now I understand what they were thinking, because it makes a pretty big difference. So
Is it plants? Do you need a whole bunch of plants? Is it
yeah,
like
so
nighttime plants or something?
there you can do plants, but in order for that to work, per um, per 100 square feet, you need something like 400 plants in order
That's
to have any
that's a lot of
impact.
plants.
So
So you have to
it's a
live amongst the
worthless
plants.
it's a worthless,
Well, it's not worthless,
yeah.
but that's
I
a
mean,
lot of plants.
it's nice to have that many plants, but that's not going to do anything.
This
Um,
goals, the squad goals for
yeah,
sure. Yes,
yeah,
live in the jungle at home. Yes.
yeah. So yeah, that was number two. Number three, number
Oh, hold
three.
up. About number two, can you plug this into a Raspberry Pi or your smart home?
No,
Homebridge? Not yet?
not
Okay.
this one. Although you can get CO2 sensors on like
Because I'd like to know, maybe
yeah.
it's 3 a.m. and I'm breathing hot garbage or something.
I
I want
think
to be woken
I
up.
think this is associated with an app, so an
Okay.
Aranet app. And that might synchronize to Home Assistant. And I think there are
Gotcha.
other devices that are a little bit pricier that do that integration directly with Home. And maybe this does too. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, and
Because
then there are
Google's, I
also,
think, can Nest, right? Like the Nest Air Quality
mm,
Monitor is
yeah,
offline now. I think so. That's
right,
in my
right.
brain. That's what I'm thinking. Is this a replacement?
And there are just sensors that you get from what's that New York-based Adafruit, or
Right.
Adafruit, or so many. I mean, Pi
The Pi
Hut, or
Hats.
any of those
Yeah.
types of things that you can get as well. But then with those, usually need to calibrate them, and so you
Yeah,
have to
they're
have a
not accurate
known.
and had to be
Right,
debalanced. Yeah, there's a whole
right.
bunch of problems with the sensors.
So
Yeah,
that's a problem. I mean, potentially a problem. So now
gotcha.
I'm at
I think you should open that door. I'm worried for you folks. We don't want to witness Matt passing out on stream. This is not the
Um,
goal.
yeah, it's the first time this is the first time I've brought this into the room. And so it's interesting seeing how high this gets. Um,
Please don't hurt yourself. Okay, what's the third one? Sorry.
okay, third one. I
Now that
finally
you said
got, so a few weeks ago, I ordered a 3D printer.
great.
Um, and I got a Bamboo Labs P1S.
Hmm.
And then before it left their shipping place, but before that got shipped, they announced the P2S. Like, oh,
Oh no.
damn
Of
it!
course.
Really? Do they have to? But and so when the P1S finally arrives, it was dead on arrival. It was
Oh.
there was a hole in the box, and they said, well, just try it, see if it works. So I tried it, see if it works, and it kind of like moved around, but it could never calibrate. And then I showed them, I like did a video inside. They said, oh, that there's a missing, like the bearing at the top of the one of the screws is gone, and so that's definitely
Oh.
the cause. So they said, okay, we can send you a new one. And so they've sent me a new one. It arrived last night, but I arrived last night from Vancouver. So I
Hmm.
opened it up this morning. And while I'm doing the calibration, so this was a P1S with the AMS, like the four spool,
Okay.
multiple things. So you do
Nozzle.
multiple colors and all.
Right.
So all that comes. It was, I think it's like $1,100 or so.
Oof.
Um, and then today, as I'm doing the calibration, I get the email saying sale on Bamboo Labs printers.
Huh.
And it is that thing that I bought is now $600.
Oh wow.
It
So
has
do you
a
get money
14
back?
it has a 14-day return policy, and
There you
today's the
go.
first day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask them, hey, I'm going to return this and then buy another one tomorrow. But hey, maybe you want to just give me a credit
See what
instead.
they
And
say.
yeah, so that's my goal.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
feels like it's now the time to grab something like this, though, because Christmas rush is,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I
yeah.
don't want to be that person, but we're almost in November and it's,
And then so I mentioned the P2S had come out.
right.
P2S you can buy in every country outside of the US. You cannot
Okay.
buy it in the US, and they haven't announced when you can buy it in the US
Oh,
because of
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the extra
Stock,
charges.
available stock that they may have locally.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
yeah,
rough.
those are my things.
But now you're officially Santa, I guess. Sorry, is where I was going with the wrap up for this,
Ah,
right?
yes,
You get your
yes,
3D printer. You can now create the toys
yes.
just in time for Christmas.
Right.
Is kind of where I was going with
Oh,
four nozzles. Did I hear it right? So you can make
well,
multicolored
no, no,
toys
it's
with
not
this.
four nozzles. It's one nozzle,
Ah,
but four
four
spools that go
spools that
to
go
that,
into the
and
nozzle.
so
Gotcha.
it like poops out
Four
the different
nozzles
colors.
sounded pretty interesting to me. Yeah.
So four nozzles, I think there is something from like Creality or one of the other printer
Wild,
makers.
wild.
Um,
Anyway, you're
but
definitely Santa Claus in my books. I'm
and
sorry.
so and then and
Work on the
then
white beard.
one clarification that Tony asked me to make. So as again yesterday we met up and my wife was with me, and you
Oh,
got
when I
and
pretended to know about architecture, yes, yes. And she has clarifications. Fair enough.
so the clarification was that you met us at the John Flufrog,
Fluvog?
Flufog, Fluvog
Fluvog? Hmm.
store, and I
Yes.
didn't know. I mean, I'd often seen those stores all around the world, but that is a brand that started in Vancouver, and that store that
Right.
you came to see in Gas Park,
Town.
Gas Town,
Gastown? Yep.
um, is the flagship store, and that's actually where they do some of the designing of the shoes.
Right.
And Tony had been interested in seeing them before, but had always put it off, and had always I don't think she's ever spent even half of that on a shoe before. And you
Really?
walked
Okay.
in just as we were laying down the credit card, as if, oh yeah, $450 shoes, no problem.
I think most
That's
people,
not.
yeah,
That is
it's
not
a
the
once in a
case.
lifetime shoe. Yeah.
It is and it's a loud shoe,
Yeah,
bright
definitely. A
pink.
lot of their
Yeah,
shoes are very loud. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Fluvog is known for
And
their concepts.
and she's now at a little over 24 hours with the shoe, and she loves it. Loves
That's
them.
fantastic.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yes, hopefully she came back with two, not one.
Yes, two shoes.
It's
Yes.
critical to the enjoyment of shoes, as far as I
It
can tell.
is. It is. Pogo jumps.
Listen, I'll make my recommendation super short. So I finally finished Rick and Morty. I
Hmm.
would recommend the
Yes, you
current
did.
season was
Yeah.
really good. It's from a while ago. The last episode was really heartbreaking and heartwarming in a lot of ways.
Mm.
Where like it's kind of like it's got the series has redeemed itself a little bit because there's a
Hmm.
bunch of crass jokes as well, but they're fairly intelligent writers.
Okay.
And you're gonna hate me, but the soundtrack to Rick and Morty is on Spotify, and it's actually passable.
Okay.
And there's one song in the end of the episode that's pretty good and stand out good. So I figured I'd look it up. It's a remix from another song in like their fourth season.
Mm.
But there's a song in the 10th episode that I think you might like. But
Okay.
at any rate, I can highly recommend the series, especially the last episode.
Wow.
Yes, in a world where I think South Park is certainly funny. Don't get me wrong. Rick and Morty feels a little bit higher level
Right.
enjoyment or entertainment. Just a little bit different.
Okay.
That's all.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. Yeah, just
Oh,
a doubling down and maybe also listen to the soundtrack because I know you
I
like
will.
music recommendations.
Yeah. And we already told you about our other recommendation that we saw a movie while we were in Vancouver, and that was Tron Ares, which was a very impressive movie.
And I gotta say, like when you say you should go see a movie because of music, normally because of the music, normally I would say no, but it does. Like Nine Inch Nails plus
Yeah.
Tron actually with
Yeah.
really good sound system to me
It
makes me
was.
want to go see it before it leaves the theater because it's
Yeah,
just
I
up the
mean,
street from me.
I would not I would not go to see it at the um uh either of the two little theaters here on Baybridge Island, because their sound system is not
Right.
anything special. But that one at the Scotiabank Theater was with the CNX 270-degree movie. It was fantastic.
I love all the branding. Dolby Atmos 3D version 2 or whatever it is. Oh, there you
Open
go.
the door,
So,
$8.90.
it seems like every hour you've got to open the door
Yeah,
and use the
yeah,
washroom or something like that. But yeah, definitely don't die in that room. That would
yeah.
not be cool. We need you around. We'll never learn about Olama if you're not here, Matt.
That's
I
right.
don't think you
That's right.
understand this.
That's right.
All right, folks, shall we say goodbye? Thank you,
I think
Ryan
so.
and RS and Brian and Echo Delta for all the comments
Yeah.
and suggestions. KV Cash does look cool. And the other one was Rasa.
I just scrolled up on the comments and saw Echo Delta's
Yes,
robot
recommending
question.
Edge of all things. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Edge has you covered. It's your AI browser for sure.
All right, I'm going to find the finish button.
All right, folks. Thanks
All right,
again.
thanks so much. Bye.